Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
Alrighty, good evening everybody and welcome back to SimTraX Broadcasting. This is Patrick Morrison coming to you live here from Phoenix Raceway. The season finale is tonight and we're going to be running the Big Red Propane 135 here tonight. Pretty excited to see all the drivers out there after the qualifying times, whether or not they are going to be able to hold on to that time and not just prove that it was a fast lap out here. The hardest part about this track is running around the dog leg and trying to make sure you don't hit that the exit or the entry a little bit too much. Joining alongside me will be Jackson Knock, who can explain all about that, as we've seen guys been able to cut across on the bottom and then hop back onto the track. Some guys hit it a little bit crooked and end up spinning out. And NASCAR says there's no gain or loss by taking or not taking it. But from here, I beg to differ. I see a huge gain when guys do take that huge cut right out of the center.
Yeah, there usually is a big gain, especially on restarts or just generally when we're going a little bit slower. But with these next-gen cars, you know, the gain gets a little bit risky. Flat bottoms of the cars, going over that steep, banking decrease, going onto the flat of the boot of the dog leg. Can really scrape the bottom of these cars, get them facing the wrong way, head into that inside wall. We saw it a lot of times last season we were here in the next gens. But I also believe that Phoenix is definitely a driver's track. We're going to see a lot of the same drivers that we usually see towards the front of Phoenix, towards the front once again. And I'm talking about Nick Nickerson, Eddie Hagee. As long as they're both here, I expect to see them towards the front.
All right, well, just a couple of those drivers, and one of them actually, the guy in the lead, Mark Alan Bivens, actually out there in the points lead, unfortunately is not going to be here tonight. Thought it'd be a better time to hang out down there in Florida than being out there. You see him already in the chat that, quote, the GOAT is absent this week, and it's a tragic time for the Mark Alan Bivens crew. Well, I would say that. I think even if you raced out here, we got one dangerous man out there on the track here tonight. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we have Curtis Yancey returning back here to the track. And the Bandit Racing League is a little nervous here. One driver I've kind of got my circled here on my notepad is Benjamin Lacey. Joined me in the booth last week. Unfortunately, with that and his travel time, has lost 5 positions, knocking him out of the top 12. It is extremely important that Benjamin Lacey have a fantastic finish tonight, or otherwise he will be eliminated before we move on to the finals. Finals as being in the next round, the round of the playoffs that should be upcoming, where we kick it off at Kansas. That'll be our first race of the round of 12. After that, we move on to a road course, and then Darlington. They're going to be really on the edge here, whether or not they're going to make it, and if this is the race to do it. I would say we got strong drivers being able to get out here, able to do exactly what they need to. But Nick Nickerson has only raced 7 races this season and has won 2 of them and holds in 16th position. Is it possible that Nick Nickerson could win this race and sling himself into the finale?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's done it before. He just needs to put himself in the right position to do so. But, Nick, really at any track, especially at a very difficult, hard-to-learn track like this, you need to be very smooth, very thoughtful in every move that you make. Nick always seems to prevail, so I expect to see him definitely have a very large possibility of getting the win.
All right, well, we'll take a look at our race info of what's getting ready to kick off here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. Here in Season 14, 150 laps is what we've got out there on the track, 70% fuel limit, and they'll fortunately have 4 sets of tires down there in the pit with, fortunately, 1 faster pair. I think the tires are going to be critical here tonight. If there ends up being a bunch of cautions, who ends up taking tires, who doesn't. Obviously, Jackson Knock will be joining alongside me here tonight, and I'll be your lead producer here watching these guys take their faster pairs in this fixed setup league. Dalton Kilroe's got his work cut out for him tonight as he's going to be watching pit road cutting out there. I obviously know that guys can slice the inside off, and I've seen actually been able to slice back almost 8 seconds off their pit lane time, so that's going to be pretty tough out here. But that right now, Jackson, I would say that 85-degree temperature out on the track, that's going to be pretty tough. Normally, down here in Phoenix, we got them high 90s, low 110s. We got them somewhere around there. And guys are used to this track being a lot more slick out there, checking out there on rubber buildup. Man, I don't think we're anything over than 20, 30 laps of these guys getting around out there. It's not really a whole lot of buildup that these guys can really bank on out there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit cooler track, nighttime, definitely a little bit different than what we're used to seeing at Phoenix. Like you said, usually very slick. But the last time we went here, it was about the same temperature, fairly cold. Not cold, 80 degrees is not cold, but a little bit cooler than what we're used to. I believe it was nighttime, and we were still sliding around a bit. A lot of people were having issues, as we see on the camera, out of turn number, I couldn't even tell you what turn that is. 3?
Yep, should be 3
I don't
and
know.
4.
I don't know the turns in Phoenix, but yeah, definitely some cars with some losing the rear end out of turn 3 or 4 or whatever turns. So definitely still expect to see some loose cars today.
All right, well, we're definitely going to see how that goes. I'm going to pull in a driver here of Marshall Crocker Jr. Marshall currently sitting 10th in points. Had a good race last week that moved you up 3 positions there at Texas. Talk to me about how you nervous at all about missing out, seeing that Benjamin Lacey's got to fight his way in?
I would be if it weren't for where we are today. I'm feeling pretty good for Phoenix. I think if I was to get any oval to finish off the year, to have to kind of lock in and beat 2 of the best, Phoenix is a pretty good bet for me. Feeling pretty good, and the reality is at the end of the day, if I can just be up there with stage points, qualifying P4, just kind of do my thing, grab a couple stage points, really just need to not wreck to make it in. So I'm feeling pretty solid, but at the end of the day, at this point, I'm really just trying to go for race wins. If I'm going to do anything in the playoffs, I'll win when I get there, and I've not done so yet on an oval. So a little bit nervous for the win, but not too worried about the playoff.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, with strong drivers out there tonight. We've got Nick Nickerson out there. We've got Benjamin Lacey, but Mark Alan Bivens with 2 wins so far this season. He is absent, though. So does this open up a door for possibly an easier win out there, or is Mark Alan Bivens in the rearview mirror regardless?
Yeah, no offense to Mark Allen. He's one of the very best, super quick. But no, the 2 gentlemen you've already named that are going to be the threat today, Benjamin and Nick, they're a different breed here. There's a way to run this track to save tires. There's a way to run this track to be fast, and somehow they can do both. So Mark Allen's great. He called my bluff. He wanted me to make him my weekly stats pick for last week. Went with somebody else, and then he won the race. So credit to him. But no, I think the 2 toughest guys to beat are both here today, and that's why it should be a pretty fun race to the end.
All righty, buddy. Good luck down there in BC Sim Sports. We're going to be rooting you on here from the booth.
10-4. Thank you, guys.
All right. That's going to be Marshall Crocker, and maybe we can find somebody out there. Ooh, yeah, I know who we can talk to. Let's see if I can find him here. How about the guy in the 84 machine? Yeah, let's do that. Let's find the guy in the 84. All right, David Lake, you got a copy on me here, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
All right, man. I've only got about 30 seconds, so we're going to try to speed this one up. You are sitting 3rd in the points, dude. Got to feel feeling real good with the playoffs upcoming.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. No pressure tonight.
All right. I know I've got to poke the bear here a little bit. David, you are doing the exact same thing that John Osborne is doing. With your consistency, you have been able to fight into, currently points-wise, the round of 12 and almost seal yourself for the round of 8 without a win here on the season. Is there any track here on the upcoming schedule that we can kind of put your finger down and say that's going to be the one?
One that I'm nervous about, or the ones that I'm confident at?
The
The only one that
I would love to see you come away with a win if you make it to the Final Four.
it would be Kansas. Kansas is probably the one I'm most comfortable with, and my least comfortable one would be the Chicago Street Course. Other than that, I love the rest of the courses. I'm pretty decent at all of them.
Excellent. All right, buddy. We'll throw you back down there in Zero Foxtrot. Good luck to you, and good luck on the race tonight.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. David Lakey seems like he's in the zone, and we'll definitely go ahead and check in on him hopefully later on, preferably for Patsy Steele out there, that we will not be checking on him in the infield car care center. All right, let's get to our starting grid here for tonight, as this is going to be the very end of it here. Let's go ahead here for the regular season. Benjamin Lacey and Nick Nickerson will be starting in the 1 and 2 positions. Moving on to Michael Ramos and Marshall Crocker. Boy, we talked to him. 4th place start for him. Excellent. The man, the myth, the legend, Curtis Yancey will be starting in 5th next to Connor Gibson, the 31 machine. Matt Crockett starts in the number 15 car for 7th. And the outside of row number 4 will be Sean Britt. Glad to see Sean Britt join us back here on the track. He's going to be ready to go. That's going to move us on to Ricardo Bernal, currently sitting in the 9th spot. Kevin Foster rounding out the top 10, moving on to David Lakey. Outside top 10 start for the 84 machine. He's sitting 11th, and that's going to move us to Ethan Sikorsky, who is sitting currently 12th.
13th is Bob Berry, the number 75. Keegan Clark in 14th in the 73. Jackson Duke in the 08 is starting in 15th. On his outside is John Osborne in the number 81 car. Hayden Paul is starting in 17th for the 54 of the Zero Foxtrot Motorsports. Joshua McQuiggan in the number 19 and 18th. 19th is Eddie Hagee. Must have had some issues in qualifying. Rounding out your field is Bill Harkins in the 20th spot in the 11 car.
All right, this all brought to you by the LAT Racing Oils gang. Guys, as the regular season comes to an end, we head to the playoffs. Now would be a good time to start poking your head in there and take a look at the Bandit Racing League. It is time to start recruitment racing. As we get the 3-4 out in front, let's go ahead and get this under green flag. Away we go.
Through the dog leg, 3 to 4 wide as they go through there, heading into turns number 1 and 2. Starting to even out just a little bit single file. One car all the way down there. It's the 74 car of Keegan Clark, I believe. Carter Bernal. Never mind. Carter Bernal, I think, or Ricardo Bernal is a little bit higher than I believe we usually see. It might be his highest starting position that we've seen so far. I'm not sure about that.
Yep, started in 9th, currently holding in 6th. Currently all Fords and Chevrolets here on the field. John Osborne Toyota, unfortunately, is all the way back, sitting in 20th. He's going to be watching this race from the extreme far back row here, and hopefully he'll be able to fight his way back up to the front. Notice how everybody spreads 3-4 wide, merge all together. It's still no problem as they go past the green cactus here as we go ahead and get lap number 3 started. Moving on back here as we take a look right now at David Lakey with a miracle of Kevin Foster. Foster still holding on to the 10th spot as he reels in the Zero Foxtrot Chevrolet of David Lakey. Lakey watching the battle in front of him currently between Connor Gibson, Ricardo Bernal, and Marshall Crocker, who is watching it all unfold in front of him. A little bit of a slow start here, Jackson, for Marshall Crocker. Falls off 3 positions here so far, but I think he's just sitting back, letting the race kind of play out, and he's going to attack a little bit later on.
Ricardo from 6th down back to 8th, but still holding his position right there, trying to keep the 8 car of Kevin Foster behind him in 9th. David Lakey rounding out your top 10. Lacey just not quite pulling away from Nick Nickerson, somewhat keeping with him. But through the dogleg once again, all cars make it good.
Yep, Nickerson able to follow along. I believe he does lead the most laps led at this track, so no surprise there to see Nickerson here sitting 1, 2, and 3 up there with Lacey and Curtis Yancey, who's gone from 5th up to the 3rd spot. Piece of cake for him. Somebody who's actually starting a little farther back, unusually, is Eddie Hagee, currently sitting in 15th. Super excited about coming here to Phoenix, but apparently his car and his race team are not. Hagee definitely had a horrible qualifying time. He started down in 19th. Currently, he's fought up to 15th. Bob Berry and Jackson Duke will be next on his list. We're hoping for all green flag racing here, as it is looking so far so good. Ethan Sikorsky currently sitting in 12th, looking to reel in Sean Britt, as Britt has been on the roll backwards.
Yeah, Ethan Sikorsky trying to look to the inside. They're going to be side by side through the dogleg, but Sean's going to have the run out of the corner. Stays high. Moves to the middle lane, gets right in front of Ethan Sikorsky, got nowhere to go, has dirty air, tries to get back to his inside. Going to get a little loose if he gives it too much gas. Stays behind him.
Yeah, not bad there, as it looks like finally Marshall Crocker coming alive here, looking underneath the snap-on machine there of Connor Gibson. Gibson looks like he's going to be losing a position, and Crocker's going to gain at least one of them back. 4 Fords sitting in the top 5. Curtis Yancey's the only Chevrolet to break them in half there. 78 machine here of Marshall Crocker currently holding just outside that top 5, as he is on the inside of Connor Gibson. Gibson still not giving up here, as the 78 would love to rotate up the track. Not having any of it for Connor Gibson.
Yeah, still side by side. The 78's going to go real low through the dogleg this time. Connor tries to follow him, but can't quite make it there. Now clears him, heading into turns number 1 and 2. Big send into the corner, almost to the bumper of Matt Crockett. Here comes Connor Gibson with a run. He's going to have a little bit of a run out of turn 2, but it's not going to be enough to catch back up to Marshall Crocker Jr.
Yeah, Nickerson has made the pass for the lead here, as he went ahead and got on by on lap number 7. Quick look at it here of how this all comes about. Right now, this is Nickerson here to the inside at the entrance of pit here, as they go past the lit cactus. Away he goes. Nickerson hasn't looked back since. Not bad pass there, as Nickerson looking to continue to add to his laps led out there. We check back in on Marshall Crocker, as he's really been putting a lot of work in there on Matt Crockett. Crockett in the liquid death machine is trying to see if he can escape before he's attacked once again. Taking a look off the back here of Matt Crockett. Look to the outside. Quick as you see them drop off. Now we catch back up to the 78. 78's going to slice to the inside. No can do. He's not going to have the run. So the Rogue machine here not having it. Rogue hydration to the inside. And Matt Crockett going in on the outside. As he stays on the outside, slaps that wall one time, and that might just give it up here for Marshall Crocker.
Yeah, Marshall Crocker Jr. going to clear Matt Crockett out of the final corner. Now heading down the front straightaway into turns number 1 and 2 once again. Just a much deeper send than Matt Crockett, much less than an arc as well. Not sure which one saves more tires, but at the moment, Marshall Crocker just getting around everybody. He is up to 5th, now has his eyes set on Ramos.
Yep, almost back to his original qualifying position now. The driver still shuffling up. Do want to mention out there, Josh McQuiggan has also moved up 4 from 18th to 14th. Not bad, as we see the back half of the field starting to chug and work their way up to the front. Take a look. That's him in the 19 Ford in the Napa machine. Down on the bottom, Sean Britt will be next on his list. Britt still losing positions here, down 6. Right now, I'm wondering if that Weathermaster machine is going to be able to hold out here, as you see him ricochet off the wall a couple more times. Britt seems to be having a little bit of trouble out there. I'm wondering if he's got his car's a little bit loose here, checking what's going on. But Sean Britt a little bit out of shape here the past couple turns.
Sean Britt no longer going down to the through the dog leg. Seems like you're right. Seems to be very loose. Got loose in the middle of the corner there. Has to let people by once again to the outside wall. Lots of issues for Sean Britt. Just trying to keep it underneath himself.
All right, we're getting the floating chase copter cam here, and we try to see if his line is changing up just a little bit as he follows behind the 73 machine there of Keegan Clark. So his Ford is starting to escape. Still sitting all the way in the back is John Osborne in his Toyota. Apparently his car is not liking the setup here tonight, as he sits about 13 seconds off pace. 20 drivers occupy the track here tonight, all battling for that number 1 spot and battling at least for position into the playoffs. Benjamin Lacey is the guy in the hot seat on the outside looking in via the points. So right now the Film in the Wild Ford has got to have a stellar finish. Currently sitting second, he's going to need the win.
Yeah, Benjamin Lacey, as you said, he was in the booth last week. Could he have raced last week, or was he out of town?
He was out of town on a business trip. Yep,
oh,
he actually joined on me on the laptop.
I was gonna say, if he doesn't make it to the playoffs, it's your fault for having him commentate.
No, he caught me about 2 minutes before we went hot, and he said, "Hey, you mind?" I said, "Nah, buddy, come on in." Come on in. So we'll shoot it up here in the
Very
booth.
good,
So
very good.
all right, Bob Barry here to the outside now as we go. Looks like Ricardo Bernal had a good run there at the beginning. After 5 laps or so, it's been nothing but backwards here for Ricardo. Right now he is down to 12, unfortunately, as he was battling there in the top 5. Right now, Chris Clow asking out there, how many laps until they pit? Well, fuel window sitting at about 70%. We should see it nudging somewhere around the lap 32 to 38 mark. Now, don't take my word for it. I always tell you guys when there's a general area when they should come down, but Jackson knows you push hard, we're going to be in sooner. Oh, you take it easy, we're going to be in later. I've seen guys stretch it as far as 40. I've seen them come in as early as 30. But give or take, we are probably about halfway through our fuel run, and they'll be taking a peek down pit road here rather soon.
Yeah, we see a lot of the really good drivers staying out a lot longer than everyone else, being able to make it. A lot more laps drivers like Nick Nickerson, Benjamin Lacey, Crocker, all sorts of drivers like that, usually being able to stick it out and save fuel a little bit more while staying fast, but at the same time, at a short track like this where tires matter so much, is it really worth it to stay out that much longer if you could pit a little bit earlier and have fresher tires and catch right back up to the leaders when they pit? So definitely a lot of strategy going on here at Phoenix.
Yeah, Brett Guzik is another one that is able to save tires and fuel, and everybody kind of questions, man, how are you able to save tires at a road course? How can you save tires at a track like Darlington when it just absolutely toasts them off there? And somehow he is able to do it. Take a look at that new paint scheme here by Ethan Sikorsky. We've seen a ton of paint schemes from this guy. Normally, remember, I think we read back. He should be our Crunchyroll guy, isn't he?
Yeah, usually. I'm going to guess this is still a Crunchyroll scheme, but he tends to like to put on certain shows that I think he likes onto his paint scheme, but still Crunchyroll, I believe, I would guess.
All right, your guess would be as good as mine.
I think above his rear wheel it says Crunchyroll, but side by side with Matt Crockett, looking to get around David Lakey as well. Ethan Sikorsky finding a lot of speed right now. A little bit of dirty air behind David Lakey. Can't quite get around or clear Matt Crockett, but he's going to try to do it once again. He's going to stay to the inside. Very fast corner here. Dirty air going to matter a lot. He goes a little bit of a lane higher than David Lakey did, but still going to be able to get around Matt Crockett. Now David Lakey in the sights.
All right, Ethan Sikorsky, great job here so far as Ethan Sikorsky does chase behind by about half a second to David Lakey. Lakey starting to slowly pull away, though. But good move there as he goes ahead and snaps up toward the front. A couple of other guys are making a quick peek there. I believe Connor Gibson may be under fire by Kevin Foster. Foster, for the past couple laps, has been running down that 31. Currently at Ford, starting to really gather up a ton of dirty air from the back end of this snap-on machine. Currently, Connor Gibson doing everything he can to stay out front, and our first caution is going to come out here for the night. I believe Sean Britt is involved.
Sean Britt had a very ill-handling race car. We tend to see that sometimes out of that 5 car. I'm not sure why or how, but it just happens to handle worse than everyone else's. So, but not sure what happened to him. We'll check the replay.
Yep, we'll take a replay here. Taking a look from this angle. Yep, once again, there he is, getting loose. Perfect Shine Auto Spot caution replay here as we are currently watching Sean Britt's Chevrolet getting way out of shape. And his
he slid for a while.
Yeah. Well, you were even saying, his car is way out of shape all race here. I mean, you see it right there. Great job by not obtaining any damage, though.
Yeah, he started to get loose more on entry, which into that corner, if you lock up the brakes, sure, you'll get loose, but didn't seem to be locked up. He seemed to brake at the normal time. It's he touched that inside part of the track where it gets a little bit flat on that, what's it called? Apron. That's the word I'm looking for. On the apron. But the only thing that doesn't make too much sense to me is we see guys doing that all the time, bouncing off that apron, almost going on it. Even in the next gen, that corner usually is okay. So possibly some issues with his car. He did tap the wall a couple times. Could have had some issues with his right side tires, wore them out. Any sort of issue that could have done that, but definitely a little bit obscure of a crash.
All right, Sean Britt will be starting from the back here. don't know if Sean Britt will be returning. I'm wondering if something broke in the suspension. And the 5 car is taking it back to the garage. We'll keep you guys updated here and see if Sean Britt does return back to the racetrack. As that will cut us down to only 19 drivers left here on the track. Quick little pit stop out there. Bill Harkins remains here in the front. Looks like Bill is the only driver.
He's getting his lead lap.
Yeah, getting a lead lap and not pitting here.
Bill does seem to do this sometimes. I'm never quite sure of his strategy, but usually he'll take the lead under caution, decide not to pit, and stay up front, get a couple lead laps, and then pull off and let everyone by him. Not sure if that's what he's gonna do, but we'll see. Starting on the high side, might let everyone by.
Yeah, pace car ducks on off really early here, and this is where the discipline of the drivers do have to make it around almost to the finish of this turn and the following of the next one before we get under green. Slowly watching as Bill Harkins is entering the restart zone. We'll be underway here in just a moment. Deep breath for all the drivers here in the front. Bill Harkins still on old tires. We'll see how he does. Here he enters the restart zone. Bill Harkins.
Green light is back out waving once again. This time Bill Harkins leads him to the green. He goes high. Everyone down low on the dog leg. A little bit of contact between cars in 5th and 6th place. Side by side for the leaders.
Tough run here so far. Now it's getting 3 wide. Guys bashing doors in. Currently down on the bottom is Benjamin Lacey trying to hold on there. And also on the bottom is going to be Marshall Crocker. Crocker getting hammered up there a little bit by Ramos. As the guys separate here, this is once again everybody as we get a little bit farther back view. You see what we're talking about. Everybody fans out and then tries to squeeze back in. Into turn
all
number
into the
1.
wall. Bernal hit the wall heavy, missed the... Ethan Sikorsky going to be able to save it. Out of turn number 2. Great save for Ethan Sikorsky. Yeah, Bernal got in the wall, sent it too hard. Not too much damage, it seems. But he was up there running with it side by side.
Bernal may survive here. Tons of stuff happening out there on the track. This is Curtis Yancey starting to follow behind Benjamin Lacey. Right now, 1, 2, and 3. These guys, no surprise. Nickerson, Lacey, Yancey. Marshall Crocker has broken into the top 5. McQuiggan, 14 positions gained. Excellent pit stop. But we talk about pit stop. McQuiggan, very quick on his pit stop. 10.2. So it looks like 2 tires and back out the 19 machine goes. Hopefully this pays off for him and doesn't come back to bite him later on.
Yeah, as we see the car is still single file here. Nick Nickerson getting away as he did last time. Connor Gibson trying to clear. Matt Crockett's going to be able to do it. That is for 9th place. Matt Crockett goes low now. Tries to take the inside into turns number 1 and 2. Connor Gibson sent it in real deep. Eddie Hagge wanted no part of that. Got right out of his way. He's going to have the run off the high side. Connor Gibson loose out of turn number 2. Eddie going to prevail.
Yeah, Eddie Hagge got real nervous there. Even his spotter, I think, started breathing in the microphone, figuring something was going to happen there. Very close. So right now, a couple of the... And I take a look here from our booth, is a couple of these guys out there are really starting to push a lot heavier than normal. Connor Gibson is really working hard here on Eddie Hagge, but Matt Crockett is trying to get a hold of Connor Gibson before he gets away. Once again, Connor Gibson getting a little bit loose there once he's in the door draft. Helmus goes up there and smacks the side of the Magathie machine, and that is going to go ahead and move him on back. Right now, Eddie Hagge says, I got a lot more race to go. Hagge lets off the gas here, lets 1, 2, almost 3 cars by, as currently Kevin Foster is looking to be that 3rd car.
Yeah, Kevin Foster looking inside. He's got the dirty air of Matt Crockett in front of him. Eddie Hagge with a big run. Matt Crockett sideways out of turn number 2. Eddie Hagge gonna take it right back from Eddie Hagge. Still in 9th, right on the bumper of Connor Gibson. Keeps on running that high side. Possibly better for tires, or just likes the line. But either way, Kevin Foster way down low. Great run, great dog leg for him. He's down the inside. He's gonna try to take it out of turn 2.
Yeah, might be trying to keep the tires cool here as Matt Crockett suffers from overheating them. by diving in super hard and racing super hard. Right now, I guarantee his fresh tires not real happy with the way he's treating them right now. He's only got 3 left down there in pits. He's got to be super careful about how he's treating these. We've got a long race left to go as we haven't reached the 1/3 mark here of the race. Currently a couple dives still contacting the wall there. I believe Bob Berry gave a little kiss there for just a moment and continues the charge. Let's check back in on Josh McQuiggan. McQuiggan might be under fire here as Marshall Crocker to the inside.
Side by side into turns number 3 and 4. McQuiggan fighting back on that high side. Going through the top side of the dog leg. Will he have a run or will he be cleared? Still side by side heading into turns number 1 and 2. Oh, Marshall Crocker having to let off still. Door to door out of turn 2. Big run for Josh McQuiggan down the back straightaway. He's going to clear him heading into turns number 3 and 4. Oh, maybe not. A little bit to the bumper. Marshall Crocker Jr. looks for it, but doesn't quite do it.
Not a bad run there by McQuiggan and Crocker right now. You got to give it to both of those gentlemen out there for doing a fantastic job keeping their Fords clean. Little bump and run, but still, they were able to do it without really touching each other out there. So Marshall Crocker will go ahead and snug down into 5th. McQuiggan holds on to 4th for his 14th place game here on the night. And Yancey, Lacey, Nickerson rolling us through 3rd up to the guy leading the race here. Currently has an awesome job. As a few drivers here from the GFR team are having a lot of success here tonight. I would say this is probably be their race here tonight that they really want to capitalize on to get the GFR team all at once into the round of 12. Currently rotating back here to Bob Berry, who's hanging out with the GFR team. He is in 10th, trying to put Eddie Hagge behind him once and for all, and he does. Hagge to 11th. Bob Berry still holding the high line. And Jackson, you were talking earlier about Eddie Hagge taking the high line. This is the guy I think is the one trying to show him how high he can go.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of speed up there if you can figure it out. It seems that Bob Berry has figured it out just about. I don't think I've seen anybody be fast and run as high as he has been in turns 3 and 4, but he's doing it well.
I would say only one caution here on lap number 24 involving Sean Britt. I think right now Bob Berry is running the long run pace speed, running on that high side. Whoop, little nudge to the wall there. But if he is able to keep it nice and clean, keep these tires fresh, he should be our guy to capitalize in the final 20 laps or so. We're going to see Bob Berry really come alive. Little nudge to the wall there, again there by Jackson Duke in the 08 in the Benelli machine. Notice him out there. Almost you can't see him, right? Yeah, all right, no camouflage jokes here. Right now, Keegan Clark diving way down low. As you can see, he is working there on the inside, almost dives on the exit of pit there. Keegan Clark extremely aggressive when it comes down to that dog leg.
Yeah, Keegan Clark trying to make it work. It doesn't seem to quite be working for him. There's always usually a strategy. I've never been able to figure it out on how some people are so fast through the dog leg. I think it's something about the way you run 3 and 4, possibly let off on entry to the dog leg and just get a real good run out of it. But either way, I've never been able to figure out how to do it either on the high side or the bottom, but Keegan Clark making it work, trying to get around Jackson Duke.
Yep, Duke has actually been on the roll backwards here. Currently, he started in 15th. A couple of other guys, as I like pointing out, unfortunately, is for Ethan Sikorsky. He is now down in 16th spot. Right now, his race is kind of unfolding here and actually coming apart at the seams. He would love to know a way to get his strategy back on track here as he's catching up now to John Osborne. Bill Harkins had led a couple of laps there, down in 19th, kind of just putting around there by himself. But unfortunately, 18 seconds off pace. Currently, our best times out there are a 26.62. Currently, last lap by Nickerson is a 27.60. So it looks like right now Bill Harkins may be in trouble here in the next 15 laps. If another caution does not come out, he is still yet to pit.
Yeah, Bill Harkins running on real old tires. Once again, I'm never quite sure of Bill Harkins' strategy, but he's doing his own thing and he's having fun, probably. But yeah, definitely very much under fire of being first a lap down. But luckily, the next car in front of him is 4 to 5 seconds in front of him. So if he does go a lap down, there will be a bit of a buffer between if a caution will come out. There will be time for one, and he will be the lucky dog.
I like pointing out as well, if we were talking about fuel mileage currently, with only one caution out there, Bill Harkins has been able to figure out how to stretch that fuel for almost 47 laps.
That's a good point. That means, Bill Harkins able to stretch it out that much. How long can Nick Nickerson stretch it out for if he really has to towards the end? How far are these drivers able and willing to go?
Yeah, this just blows my mind here of what we're able to do fuel mileage-wise. I'm hoping Harkins isn't going to have to tuck tail, come down into pit road under green. He'll be coming out of pit for at least 2 laps down as these guys are tearing around this track. Currently, our times down pit road range anywhere between 53 to 58 seconds down pit lane. So we're looking, it'll be a minimum of 2 laps down coming back out on to the track if he has to pit. So this is going to be pretty tough out there. And looks like looks like old Jackson Knock has figured it out here, talking out there. Dude, tell me, for God's sakes, y'all are related.
Yeah, it's my dad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to figure out how to comment on YouTube for a while, or for live streams. But it looks like he figured it out, so very good for him.
All right. Now maybe he was out there going ahead and trying to bivouac Mark Allen out there, saying we are correct on our lap 150 of the Big Red Propane 135. Trust me, I checked. I want to be 100% sure out there. So right now, taking a look in the Bandit Lounge, Bill Harkins, Ethan Sikorsky, and Matt Crockett are all kind of in the same group out there. They're looking to see if they got anything left for anybody out there. If they have any sort of a different pit strategy out there. Right now, it's going to be Crockett sitting 12th, Sikorsky 14th, and Harkins at 19th. So this is starting to squeeze down pretty tight here, especially when we're taking a look at Harkins getting very, very close to being a lap down. Currently, Nick Nickerson is not having any problem out there, able to keep a comfortable 3/4 to a 1 second lead over top of Benjamin Lacey. And maybe I should have poked in here a little bit earlier and asked Benjamin Lacey, what's his strategy and what are they going to do if Nick Nickerson passes and then leaves these guys? They did start side by side here, Jackson, but it is pretty tough here, bud.
Yeah, I think in all reality, there is really almost no stopping Nick from winning at Phoenix. I tried to do it once to win the championship, just barely got beat by Nick, and I did all I could do other than wreck him. And I think a lot of these guys are going to experience that exact same thought. So I think they're just going to have to wreck him. No, I'm just kidding. But, Nick has always been very fast. He's the one to beat. Definitely going to need some bad circumstances in order to beat Nick Nickerson. Caution number 2, Waves.
Looking to see who this is involving here. I'm not sure, as I see somebody on the fall backwards.
Jackson Duke down to 18th.
Yep, this should actually be our stage break here at lap 53.
That makes more sense, yeah. That
Bill Harkins made it, though, without having to fuel up.
That's awesome.
Well, we definitely stand
54 laps.
For the amount of time he was able to stay out.
Yeah, granted, 3 of those laps were under caution, so those we'll count that as maybe 1 lap. But so 52 to 53 laps, not even really concerned about fuel. How long are these other drivers going to be able to go?
All right, well, we might be able to get a chance, and we'll grab a hold of Bill Harkins here. I got to know how close he was. That was extremely close on that fuel run, and I'm impressed to see how long he had made it. So he got some lead laps out there and made it on a single tank of fuel. So this might be maybe a set of 4 tires out there and then be able to run out there with Nickerson. I'm just wondering if an interesting pit strategy out here could offset this if Bill knows how far he can go. All right, we'll see the end of pit road here. See who can shoot out first. That's going to be Nickerson out first. McQuiggan out second. Crocker third. Ramos fourth. Kevin Foster. I believe comes out in 7th. There is a huge question mark here, and it's going to go to the number 7. What happened to Benjamin Lacey? 18 seconds in the box.
Wow. Did he miss the box?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Flabbergasted?
That is mind-blowing. He's had a stellar night here. He's been running in second. And, slid just a little too far.
Yeah, oversent it.
Still not accepting him. See how many times he had to bump it there? Oh my gosh. He's going to be hot. Ooh, he's going to be mad. Ooh. Well, Benjamin Lacey's had nothing but bad luck here all season. He's been wrecked out of, I think, 3 or 4 of them. With not completed no finishes. So hopefully this is the end of his bad luck there. 7th place is where he's going to be restarting. And boys, he got some tough drivers in front of him.
Joshua McQuiggan up to 2nd. Marshall Crocker Jr. right behind both of them. This is the first time we've seen them battling with Nick Nickerson all day, so we're going to see it on this restart.
McQuiggan doing exactly what I would do, is hold right there to the side, and he does. That way he can try to grab Nickerson. Nickerson is able to plant and go.
Yeah, Nick, huge run through the dog leg. Marshall Crocker not... Oh, I thought Marshall Crocker was in 2nd. He's not. He's in 3rd. Joshua McQuiggan is going to be able to clear for 2nd from the high side. Will he be able to keep up with Nick Nickerson? It says that Nick is in the pit on the board. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that is not true.
No, we'll get that reloaded. I think it's the competition caution. Whenever that happens, it ends up locking her down there a little bit. And then we'll get it with no wreck. All right, let's get her back at it. See, there you go. Make you feel better? Yay. All right. Yeah. Let's check in on Kevin Foster here, sitting in 8th in the number 8. Definitely seems to be his good spot. Maybe somebody ought to tell him he should change his car to the number 1. Maybe he'll get up top and start nailing down some wins here. Speaking of nailing something down, 26:56 is the last lap time and the best lap time out there on the track for Nick Nickerson. That is blazing speed. Right now he is flying. And amazingly, Josh McQuiggan is still within half a second of him here. So currently that is still a great lap here by Nick Nickerson. McQuiggan very close with a 26:58 is his best lap. And I'm starting to think, these two might be the ones to duke it out.
Yeah, Josh McQuiggan really fast, not quite losing as much time as Benjamin Lacey was, but still losing a lot of time. Not quite being able to keep up with Nick, still not going to be the guy to be able to beat him purely off of speed. Definitely still going to need some unwanted circumstances for Nick in order to be able to get a win.
90 laps left to go here in this bout at the Big Red Propane. 135. We're going to peek in on Curtis Yancey, who's fallen down to 6th here. He was sitting currently top 5 earlier. Right now, Michael Ramos and Connor Gibson with some interesting pit times there have fought themselves up to the front. Yancey also fell victim to a little bit of pit road folly out there with a 17.7 second pit stop. That unfortunately does drop him somewhere between 2.5 and 3 seconds slower than the rest of the field. Fortunately, he was able to salvage just a little bit as he squeaked out of pit road and made something of his actually that pit stop. Right now, is unfortunately his crew failed him out there, so it looks like he's going to have to be battling from the back. Yancey taking it a lot easier than we've seen most of the races, but it looks like that Bass Pro Shops number 51 Chevrolet is going to be alive here. Continuing to race this one out. Bob Berry currently sitting 11th, looking at Kevin Foster, which Foster has recently dropped 2 positions to David Lakey and Eddie Hagge. Foster now occupies the 10th spot, and right now there are a few guys looking to fight in. Bob Berry, John Osborne, and Ethan Sikorsky.
Yeah, Ethan Sikorsky went all the way back to 17th, made his way up to 13th. Now at this point, he was in the top 10. Looking to make his way back. Going to have to get around Osborne and Berry and Foster. Foster's going to be real difficult to get around, especially But, we see John Osborne up to 12th place. That's pretty much the best place he's been all night. We saw him way in the back, just real slow, but now found that speed. Ethan Sikorsky on the bumper.
Yeah, after a good finish there at Texas, the Surge machine has been really working hard to try to keep up on his consistency. Speaking of which, a little inconsistency. Sean Brett is one of our drivers who have taken it back there on lap number 24, 25 there, and has taken it back to the garage. Keegan Clark in the 73 Ford will join him. He is our second driver down and out here for the night. Lap 54 is about where he made it, so he's going to hopefully come on back. So we'll see if he maintains. Rotating up front, where I see Sergeant Townley out there, is rooting on Michael Ramos. Ramos currently holding in 5th. And he is the one of the 4 Fords out there in the top 5. Instead of Curtis Yancey up there sitting 3rd, it's going to be Connor Gibson, his Chevrolet, sitting 4th.
Yeah, we saw Ramos get into the wall a little bit that last time by. A lot of cars actually just barely scraping the wall across that start-finish line. But Curtis Yancey now getting ready to pounce on Ramos. Looks high. Going to look for a run. Benjamin Lacey now to the bumper of Curtis Yancey. Also wants it. Crosses over. Not quite going to be able to make it there. Curtis Yancey been very loose out of every single corner, especially turns 3 and 4 right out of here. Usually gets a little sideways. Not going to be able to do it that time. He did put the bumper to Ramos a little bit. Looks even lower. Not going to make it that time. Benjamin Lacey wanted a piece of the action.
Yeah, Yancey did shove Ramos there right before he headed into the following turn. And boy, I thought that 27 was going to get a little bit loose. The brakes weren't going to hold. But Ramos was able to check up just a little bit as the 51 seemed to be getting a solid run there, but decided to go through him instead of under him, over him, or around him.
Yeah, still these 3 cars under a blanket, not quite able to get around each other. Curtis Yancey running a little bit higher into turns number 1, 2. He's going to try that arcing line once again, but just can't quite make it there off the corner. Ramos just right where he needs to be. Sideways once again.
Yeah, Yancey backing up these turns big time here to see if he can get Ramos to go ahead and give up the area. And so Yancey can dive in underneath, which that's exactly where you see him taking a peek yet again. Yancey trying to bleed off some of this speed by moving to the top. Quick brake check there by Michael Ramos. And this is what I've heard Yancey complain about a little bit out there is, quote, guys getting in his way. I wouldn't say getting in his way, but he says the braking points change by every driver that is in front of him, but there's always one that seems to poke and stick out that annoys him the most. I would say here, Jackson, watching how Yancey drives out there, I don't think anybody drives like him.
No, not at all. Yancey is very different of a driver compared to just about everyone else in the Bandit Racing League, but trying to make it work without using the bumper, trying to use that high side to his advantage, but just can't quite make it there. His rear tire's been used up every single time out of the corner, getting very loose. Benjamin Lacey looking to get to his inside. We now see side-by-side between Eddie Hagee and David Lakey. Eddie Hagee's going to almost clear. Going to clear into the corner. Yes, he will. Eddie Hagee up to 8th.
Yeah, not bad. Eddie Hagee moving up to the 8th spot. That gives him 11 here on the night. In that exact same quarter, Benjamin Lacey was able to attack Curtis Yancey. And now they resume. Yancey's been following behind Benjamin Lacey pretty much all this entire race here so far as they continue to charge up toward the front. Right now, this has been excellent here so far. Only one caution unscheduled here tonight, back on lap 24, that involved Sean Britt. The other one that we had earlier was back on lap 53. That was actually our stage break. As everybody shifts back and forth out there on the track, David Lakey looking to see if he can come up with some of that earlier speed he had earlier tonight, as he's currently holding in 9th. Kevin Foster rounding out our top 10. Bob Berry is 11th. John Osborne says sitting dead last, has gone ahead and snugged into the 12th position. Good move, seeing that we are creeping up on the halfway point of our race. Ethan Sikorsky with a good save here tonight in the Crunchyroll machine, currently sitting 13th. Bill Harkins leading a couple of laps, sits in 14th. Matt Crockett has had nothing but trouble out of that liquid death machine. 15th for him, as Ricardo Bernal, boy, what a run he's had, and as unfortunately is seemed to put the brakes on him out there. He's sitting now 16th. Hayden Paul pretty quiet, started 17th. remains in that position, and Jackson Duke bringing up the back end here of this field. Right now, Jackson Duke currently sitting 15 seconds off pace. He's getting pretty close to the halfway point before they consider lapping him. All right, Jackson, that's it. We're going to go ahead and cut away to commercial here for just a moment as we reach the halfway point here of this race. Guys, appreciate you hanging in there. Get a shout out from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
LAT Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
Alrighty, appreciate you guys hanging in there for a shout out from our sponsors. As we were taking a look there at our sponsors, Bob Berry unfortunately has fallen down a position to Ethan Sikorsky. Berry has been working really hard out there tonight. Last lap time, unfortunately, sitting around a 28-29. That is about 3-4 tenths off pace here. I don't think Berry has really burned up the tires here, as he's been in almost entire conservation mode in the Harley-Davidson machine. And I'm kind of questioning if Bob Berry's going to be able to do it. But as we move up front, there's one driver right now that Jackson's taking a peek at. He's been watching him move around a lot up front, trying to make up some time.
Yeah, Benjamin Lacey started on the pole, had a real fast qualifying lap, a little bit faster than Nick Nickerson. Oh, almost a little bit of contact there between him and Ramos entering turns number 3 and 4, a little bit slower than where Ramos wanted to go. But either way, he was in second just about all race. He's now down to 5th with Ramos starting to pounce on him, losing a little bit of speed in that 7 car, trying to make his way back up. But Benjamin Lacey needs to have a really good race, possibly a win, in order to make it into the top 12, to make it into the playoffs. You got to remember, this is the final race of the regular season before we head into the playoffs. One of the most important races is this one right here. Benjamin Lacey really needs to get back up there.
All right, I hadn't worked on any part of any different theories out there based on the points, that if Nick Nickerson won it, would it end up slinging any of these other drivers that ended up having an opportunity at the regular season. All right, now Josh McQuiggan only sitting behind the lead by 15 points, currently holding in that second spot. That might be enough to seal the deal for him, but David Lakey's now out there currently hitting in the 9th spot. He's currently 3rd in the points. So these two, at least these guys are within striking distance. David Lakey, unfortunately, I believe is 33 off the mark there. But speaking of Mark, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is peeking out there looking for a provisional, and I think everybody's trying to slap his hand saying you can't do it at the end of the season. But we'll see. I've seen plenty of exceptions made. We'll see if that does work in his favor or not. Josh McQuiggan is the only driver able to reach out and touch Nick Nickerson, but that is sure slowly coming to not be true. Right now, McQuiggan, just can't come up with 1.3 seconds as Nickerson gets out to what he always calls a comfortable lead, and then I coast.
Yep. Joshua McQuiggan only really has to worry about that 78 car Marshall Crocker Jr., who seems to be losing a little bit of time on him every lap, but only a little bit. Joshua McQuiggan gained a lot that lap, but now lost it all right back into turns number 1 and 2. Nick just continuing to pull away. Nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah, Nickerson almost seems to be toying with the guys behind him here. Crocker currently sitting in 3rd. He's feeling pretty comfortable, especially since he's sitting 10th in the points. Checking out there in the chat, K-Doggy is asking what's up. Hey, long time no see, buddy. Appreciate you joining us here at the Big Red Propane 135 here tonight. We're currently under lap 86 of the 150 that we're going to be running here. Our points leader is not here on the track tonight, so it is up for grabs. We got tons of guys looking for their opportunity to see if they can slide up, as this is the last race before we head to Kansas to begin the round of 12 into the playoffs. No winning in situations here as Kevin Foster, full send, baby. Wow, did he slice underneath there? Did you see that on the edge of the screen?
I did.
Blakey doing it right back. Here he comes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm wondering if somebody rubbed somebody the wrong way there. Somebody's getting fidgety.
Yeah, Kevin Foster does not want to wait anymore. He sent it in turns number 3 and 4 that last time by. Now around John Osborne and David Lakey. Now has Eddie Hagee in his sights, sending it in once again. A lot of speed out of that 8 car on entry, and he's still able to keep that run on exit. Another thing that I'd like to talk about, the last time we looked at Joshua McQuiggan, he was around 1 second or 1.70 away. He's now dropped it down to 1:03, now less than a second away. McQuiggan has been gaining about a tenth a lap every single lap here out of the blue. So McQuiggan with a lot of speed. Possibly could be Nick is just saving a little bit more, saving his tires, saving his fuel. But either way, a lot of hope for McQuiggan there.
Yeah, we'll see if Nickerson radios up out there and see if we can get a little pop in and see if Nickerson's saying, all right, I'm going to get back on the gas now and get going. Right now, I've seen it's kind of a shame when you're chasing a guy and he toys with you and tells you what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. Almost the Larry Bird out here of the racetrack. So Nickerson's starting to agitate some of the drivers. Right now is Josh McQuiggan would love to find just a little more speed. That's starting to grow again, 1.3. Nickerson's starting to pour it on. And I would say, you know, he gets that nice, comfortable spot and then just kind of toys around up there. I would say, and you know, Jackson, I want to put camera time on this guy all the time. He's got a lot of lead time. He's got a lot of fast speed out there, but he starts only becoming a one-man crew here, and I see nobody around him, so it makes it extremely hard to really focus on a guy who can dominate this hard.
Yeah, it's pretty boring to watch just one car out there with having no issues and just putting down good laps.
Yep. So let's find somebody from his team. Let's move back here to Kevin Foster. John Osborne, the Surge Machine, sits behind him. Eddie Hagee's in front. And that went ahead and shuffled David Lakey back to his original qualifying position of 11th. Seems to be a common thing here. Lakey, Sikorsky, and Bob Berry have actually all resumed back to their qualifying positions of 11, 12, and 13. Maybe that's a good qualifying time for them, as apparently that seems to be exactly where they are out here on the track. Boy, you know, I look at the laps here. We say 150 laps. You know, is this going to be tough? Right now, guys are making the most of each and every lap we have out here, and I'm not really seeing anybody who's not really digging out there to try to come up with just a little extra here at Phoenix. There is possibilities. There are different lines you can run out there, Jackson, but I would say I think you would agree with me that these next-gen cars really only want to run one lane.
You know, the majority of the time, obviously, when the track is super slick, these cars, you downshift into turns number 1 and 2. They might still be downshifting, but it just doesn't quite matter as much when they have all this grip. Everyone wants to run the same line, but into 1 and 2, super wide corner, lots of lanes you can run. When it gets real slick, definitely some different... Oh! Eddie Hagee down pit road to be the first to pit out of everyone on track right now. We saw him get a little bit loose, but going to be able to collect himself. Hopefully he did not speed. But Eddie Hagee going to be the first to pit.
Yeah, interesting strategy here. We'll see if he is considering trying to, if he's thinking about with this run, if he's going to be able to make it to the end. I'm trying to work the math out on that. Good Lord. Yancey, full send. All right, there's the cone. Okay, so these guys do have a little bit of time. They are coming in at almost 90 miles an hour for a 45 limit down pit lane. Boy, that's fast.
I don't know how these guys are making it.
Now, they are clipping it right there at the beginning. How in the world they're doing it, I don't know. Yep, Ramos working his way down. There's the line. Wow. I see Bernal's doing the same thing. You can tell the guys who have done this before or come down into pit, they feel very confident, as you can see them diving hard into pit road. So, green flag pit stops, rather unusual here for Phoenix. And that is something we're going to take away from this race. That is amazing. Right now, RC is almost perched up on his mount there, taking a look down at pit road, making sure nobody's slicing that inside lane, so they will be able to check that pit lane time and see.
And Benjamin Lacey was real slow in pit lane last time by. This time there's even more pressure on him to be able to make it into the box safely. I know me, when I miss my box, the next time I go around, I take it super slow and, you know, just to make it work, but usually lose a little bit of time. So we'll see if this, the way that he missed the box last time affects how he enters the box this time. Got to keep consistent.
Yeah, I thought Benjamin Lacey almost forgot that he scored on the pole here tonight and slung past that last box there, and it kind of crept up on him, as already Nickerson was in the box by the time he had arrived. So a little mix-up there. But Benjamin Lacey holding on tight. All Fords occupying the top 5. John Osborne from dead last up, back up to the 6th spot. That gives him 10 on the night. And currently he is taking a peek around there. We'll see how his Toyota does on his fuel mileage.
Yeah, 2/3 of the way through the race. Like you said, fuel mileage. Gonna see the end here. Seeing how long these drivers are gonna be able to make it. We saw a lot of cars go down. I'm not sure when the last caution was.
Lap 54.
Lap 54. So they've gone a little bit over 40 laps, approaching, getting close to 50 laps. A lot of these drivers here. But we saw Bill Harkins stay out for over 50 laps. So a lot of those cars might just be short pitting to have better tires towards the end. Any sort of strategy like that to be able to have these other cars stay out here so much longer. Definitely going to see some very different tire strategy. I think that's really what it revolves around.
Yep. Well, some guys may be one stopping it here, and I don't blame them. Come down pit one time and then go back out there, have the fresher tires toward the end as McQuiggan knocks that wall one more time. It looks like Marshall Crocker sitting, right behind him here. That should be a lapped car behind him there of David Lakey. Right now, the 84 machine trying to see if he can warm up these tires just a little bit before he tries to sling on around. Actually, I might be incorrect. That is actually the 54, Hayden Paul. Yep, that's my mistake there. The 0 Fox truck machine, cars. The Black Rifle coffee machine looking pretty close. All right, if I'm not mistaken, Marshall Crocker has peeled off, and down pit road he goes. Boy, this is going to be a crazy turn of events here if this is offset by pitting and just by pit strategies out there. It looks like everybody taking 4 tires and fuel. Only person to switch it up.
There goes Nick sideways just a little bit. He's going to be able to slow it down. Oh, maybe not. Locked up the tires on entry to pit road. We'll see if he gets a penalty.
Nah, Nick never gets penalties. He just waves that thing off. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. They would never give Nick a penalty.
All right. We'll see if McQuiggan is able to get any of that damage fixed here as we see him slide into the box. Ah, there we go. Yep, looked like they fixed up a little bit of that right front there. Might be good. Boy, you don't think it'd be suicide in him taking that fast repair.
Yeah, I don't know. That fixed itself real quick and almost in a blink of an eye. There's a chance he could have used that fast repair, possibly without even realizing it. Possibly could have just not had it unchecked.
Boy, gotta be beautiful.
It did look like he used his fast repair.
Boy, it was beautiful, though, being able to start in that front row. You see Nick sidestep the clutch there and hammer down right out of pit road, as unfortunately you see McQuiggan having to slowly creep out of pit road to try to chase him now. And now he is way back here, looking about 2.5 seconds off of Nick Nickerson, which is really a deficit I don't think that Napa machine is going to be able to make up. Benjamin Lacey coming on down pit road here. As he is working hard, trying to get into that box, looking not to miss it this time. And
makes it in.
good stop.
Yeah, definitely a little bit slower into the box than a Nick Nickerson or a Joshua McQuiggan did. So possibly a little bit more timid that time by.
Yeah, good check there. John Osborne has taken over the lead here. 1.6 seconds over top of Ethan Sikorsky. I think Osborne might be waiting to see if there's going to be a caution. I don't think that's going to play in his favor, though. Boy, talk about fuel save, fuel save, fuel save. All right, Jackson, here's one for you. If these guys stay out long enough, would it require them to take less fuel coming back onto the track and henceforth giving us a little more speed?
Yeah, dependent on if, they only have to they only have to fill the fuel tank a certain amount, especially if they're able to go 40 laps. We've seen them do it before. So at this point, coming into the pits, they're not going to put as much fuel into the car as you would usually have to. So definitely a little bit shorter of a pit time, as well as a little bit lighter of a car. Definitely going to change some circumstances. Going to make the car a little bit looser, though. Throughout the run, having less fuel back there will get it a little bit loose.
All right. Well, fresh tires, a little bit of looseness. I would say I might have to take that on. I'll take that opportunity to go ahead and save 7 pounds per gallon off and come up with a little more speed out there. All right, Missy out there rooting on the 8 and the number 2 out there. All right, now that'll be Nick Nickerson currently holding in 4th. You see him working here on Yancey. Ooh, yeah, buddy. All right, hopefully that was nothing meant by that. You see a little knock to the side there. Watch Yancey hammered down on this one. Right now, Yancey wants to run the big dog out there as Nickerson just wants to get his lead back. Osborne comes down, leaving us only a single driver left of Ethan Sikorsky, who is yet to pit.
Yeah, I think Curtis Yancey felt that he needed to make a move quickly and tried his best right there, but just couldn't quite make it happen. Now Nathan's starting to pull away, as well as Mark Parker Jr. trying to get to the bumper of Curtis Yancey through the dogleg.
Well, I'm wondering if the time to make the move is on the fresh tires before they start to wear in. Most of the time you hear the complaints of, well, it handles really well, got plenty of grip, as Yancey's finding out that is not the case. He came down in on lap 95. Crocker came down on 103, so much fresher tires. And you can tell, everybody says the grip is there at the beginning. After that, it kind of plateaus and there's nothing there. The speed kind of maximizes and there's nothing else left in the car. So currently Ethan Sikorsky running a 28.42 last lap. Nickerson's running just a hair over 27 seconds. So quickly Nickerson will be regaining the lead. He is unfortunately behind by 16, but we are still waiting for Sikorsky. As I say that, guess who's coming on down pit road? Sikorsky working his way. Nickerson will be resuming the lead, and boy, I think if there's not a caution, this might be a sealed deal here.
Yeah. Nickerson just so far ahead of everyone else. Gonna take the lead right here. Getting around Ethan Sikorsky. Ethan got to lead some laps at least, but now gonna go all the way to the back. Still an entire second faster than Crocker is Nickerson.
Good choice there by Ethan Sikorsky going ahead and leading the lap. He is currently sitting 5th in the points. Right now he's going to be looking to kind of make up what he did last season there at Bristol. Sikorsky, everybody was rally capping, figuring he was going to come away with his first win. Definitely do it in a commanding fashion. And unfortunately started staring at that rearview mirror out there. But I would say a lot of things are going to be taken into effect here. One of them, when we talk a little bit about points, Chris Bassinger currently is sitting in 7th, not out here tonight. So that's going to be pretty tough. Bassinger actually might be shuffling and filing out if the rest of these guys keep running the way they do, which is good news for Benjamin Lacey and Matt Crockett. But Not for Chris Bassinger out there, not good for Mark Alan Bivens, so we're going to see a lot of shuffling out here. And for Brett Guzik, currently holding in 11th. I believe he's only 3 points to the good from hitting the dead last spot. So Brett Guzik is also in danger of flopping out, and currently Guzik has used a provisional. So he does not have any backup plan when it comes to the points.
Yeah, Brett Guzik is going to need some luck here. So is Mark Alan Bivens going to need some luck. I believe he told me that if Joshua McQuiggan finishes in the top 13, then he might get booted out. But I am not sure about that. I don't have any real reliable sources on that, but so I have heard. But either way, Nick Nickerson just continuing to pull away. Possibly another just teasing Crocker Jr. by keeping him a second and a 10th away from him. Not getting any closer, sometimes gaining, sometimes losing, but just keeping it right there. Not quite enough speed to catch.
Just enough to aggravate you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, you've raced here before. What does a provisional mean when it comes down to points?
Well, I believe you just get last place points. So say there's 20 cars, you would get like 21st points. That's what I think it is, but you know, I've never really figured that out myself.
Okay, I was fairly certain. I think about 90% of the leagues out there run that exact same deal. Is if you get a provisional, and depend on your asking or where your points are currently, that'll give you a dead last spot. So it should give him 21st and 21st in points for Mark Alan Bivens. I don't think is going to be enough to hold him there. So that's going to be pretty close for McQuiggan. McQuiggan right now sitting in third. So if he can get past Crocker here, which is about 1.6 seconds in front, McQuiggan might have a real good shot here and coming in it. Now, I don't remember McQuiggan here last season, and I believe I was here half the season prior to that. This should be a new driver here to the league.
Not exactly new. He's been in and out for a few seasons, but this is his first season where he's been really, really good up front all the time. Josh McQuiggan definitely won the beat. I believe he was one of the young guns for a very long time. I'm not sure if he still is, but he's one of the younger drivers out there.
No way.
Way.
Tell me he aged out. I'm just kidding. All right, let's check back in on Eddie Haggy. Haggy currently trying to see if we can run down Michael Ramos. Ramos currently sitting in 7th. Kevin Foster in 9th. Bernal has fought himself back up to the 10th spot. Not bad. Pretty well here so far. John Osborne needs to kind of get something going here. Currently, is he holding in 12th? That is currently Bob Berry.
Yeah, side by side with Eddie Haggy. He's going to send it right down there. He's going to clear immediately into the corner. Eddie Haggy running real high that time by. Oh, he did not clear. Look at that, Eddie Haggy holding it on the outside, way up high in the 3rd lane. He's going to do it again here in 1 and 2. Not quite going to have that same run that he did. Bob Berry's going to clear out of the corner.
Yeah, I know this is kind of where some of the lead lap guys start kind of giving a few hand gestures out there. Lapped cars are holding them up a little bit or making them change their race line. Unfortunately, well, Eddie Haggy coming down on lap 94 is starting to pay for coming down so early, as right now Bob Berry, looking at our time here, lap 108 is actually when Bob Berry came down. But 21.6 seconds is what he spent in the box. So Bob Berry, boy, he's just trying to bounce back here, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get up there and make the pass. Currently, he has passed the 8th place driver and Michael Ramos in 7th. He's got to find Nick Nickerson to get back on the lead lap. What in the world is going on with Benjamin Lacey? Well, here's what's happening. Curtis Yancey is starting to thinking about folding them up here, and right now, let's see how these two do. Oh yeah, Curtis Yancey doing his best blinking job out there from sitting behind. Benjamin Lacey is needing a solid finish, and currently 4th might be just enough to break him in.
Into the wall. Curtis Yancey gained a lot off that corner, but just got on the throttle way too early, got real tight out of turn number 4, went heavy into the wall down on the start-finish line. Going to lose a lot of time there. Had a lot of pressure on Benjamin Lacey. Could have made it work, but now going to have to gain all that back up with possible damage on that right side.
Nick Nickerson out to a comfortable 1.5 second lead. McQuiggan sitting just behind that as he's got nobody around him. Got to make up 1.2 to find Crocker, and then another 5 seconds back. Actually 4.5 from McQuiggan to find Benjamin Lacey, and then Curtis Yancey is beyond that. So our top 5 are rather spread out here. I believe almost 9 seconds is what separates our top 5. Let's check in on somebody who might be doing some work out there. Kevin Foster, as Bernal has actually looked like he may be taking an unscheduled pit stop here, heading back down pit road.
Yeah, back down pit road, we saw Duke down pit road not too long ago as well. I saw him coming out, making another, what seemed to be an unscheduled pit stop. So not sure what happened to him. He's 17 laps down, possibly trying to fix some damage that happened to him. But yeah, Bernal down pit road once again. He was 1 lap down, probably going to go 2 laps down at this point with when the pit road cycles. Paul on the high side of the track. They're going to be able to squeeze around him. Eddie Hagee and Kevin Foster side by side. This is for 8th.
Yep. Currently, we're seeing if I can find. There he is. There's Eddie Hagee down there on the bottom. As the Magathy machine has been seesawing back and forth to see if he can overcome. No, he cannot. Kevin Foster still going to maintain 8th position. Right now, John Osborne does break from 12th now up to 10th. He's going ahead and turning back to the front. You were talking a little bit about Jackson Duke out there. Yep, well, he did suffer a good bit of damage out there. 6.5 minutes is how long it took him to repair to get back out there. So unfortunately, he is still rolling around out there, but he's back on lap 113. So right now, the 08 machine's still alive and kicking. I would say, you know, I love seeing lap drivers because that throws a little bit of wrench in the spokes out there for the guys on the lead lap, trying to work around a driver that's still competitive.
Jackson Duke, a little bit slow back there. So I would guess there's some issues with that car. He was a little bit fast, able to keep up with everyone at least towards the start of the race, but just as the race went on, slower and slower, cannot seem to get a grip of it. But either way, Nick Nickerson, the gap between Nick and Crocker has gone down about 1/2 second, gaining even more time after Crocker did that last lap by. Now losing it once again, but either way, is Crocker really gaining? That's the real question. Possibly with the fact that Nick Nickerson had to get around Matt Crockett. Matt Crockett, usually not the type to just let the leader by completely. So possibly why Matt Crockett gains, or not Matt Crockett, Marshall Crocker gained so much time, but we will see. Marshall Crocker will also have to get around that.
Rotating back here to that 8th position. That seems to be so coveted there by Kevin Foster. Goes ahead and hands it over to Michael Ramos. That's going to move Foster up to the 7th position now as they continue to charge forward with 17 laps left to go here in the Big Red Propane. 135. Nickerson, this has been a dominating performance once again by the Big Red Propane number 2 Ford. He definitely cannot seem to be stopped out here. Late race caution would definitely trip everybody up. Maybe if everybody took tires and he didn't, I think these guys would have a heck of a chance to try to see if they could run him down. But so far, Nickerson unable to be touched out there. Top 5 separated by 10 seconds. Top 10 separated by 15. That's a rough race here, especially when you've tried all week to get this thing knocked down for a regular season finale. And this is how it ends up. All right, Kevin Foster currently sitting in 7th. Ramos is 8th. Right now, these two are the two going at it here, as everybody else is fairly decently spread out.
Yeah, entire field spread out. I don't really foresee a caution coming out anytime soon. Constantly, someone intertangles with a lapped car. That would be the most plausible way that caution comes out. With lapped cars, usually on a very different, speed level, I'd say, than the cars that are lapping them. So usually during green flag conditions, those cars are never near each other. So when they are lapping those cars, it's like racing someone that you've never raced before, which is very difficult to understand how they're going to move, their braking zones, the way they corner. So definitely a little bit more difficult to pass a lap car than it is to, I shouldn't say more difficult. Definitely still very difficult to pass a lap car.
Yeah, and then also tire strategy, whether you're on fresh tires or you are. That's definitely a few trade-offs that you are going to see out there. Let's check in on John Osborne here. Osborne starting to work on Haggy. Haggy already secured into the playoffs here, and so is Eddie Haggy. So right now these two are just going for a little extra points here. John Osborne will be taking a look here to the inside as he's been fuel saving. Lap 111 is how long John Osborne stayed out, and that is how fresh his tires are. He's going to slice to the inside, put Eddie Haggy behind him, and no problem. Piece of cake there. He's got to make up another second to find Michael Ramos. With 12 laps left to go right now. If Osborne's looking to gain any more, you better put the hammer down. Let's check back in on Connor Gibson. And right now, Connor Gibson under fire here by Kevin Foster.
Yeah, Kevin Foster on the bumper of Connor Gibson is going to be for 6th position. Right in front of him is Curtis Yancey. Curtis Yancey's been up there just about all day, almost uncontested in that top 5. Kevin Foster, will he have anything for him? If he is able to get around Connor Gibson, he goes a little bit high, looks for the run, goes a little bit low on exit. Going to be to the bumper into turns number 3 and 4. He looks low, side by side. Oh, Connor's going to chop him off. Not quite going to be able to make it there that time by.
I don't blame him. Good defensive move there by Connor Gibson, but I don't think it'll hold out. Kevin Foster lining him up again underneath. Turn number 1 becoming trouble here for Connor Gibson, as he's going to have to be a lot higher than he wants to. Through turn 2, still fighting it side by side, looking at each other's windows there. There's a little nudge there by Kevin Foster to the side of the snap-on machine. The 31 going to get marched out here as Kevin Foster able to overcome and has made the pass. Good job there by Foster, going ahead and letting things go, and caution is out.
Oh, this will shake some things up.
Hayden Paul is around.
Marshall Crocker Jr. to the lead. Nick Nickerson down to 3rd. Possibly some issues with lap cars.
Lap
Oh,
car
yeah, Nick
and
Nickerson.
a broken toe link.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
Oh my gosh.
I basically called it. Let's be honest.
What? What? We do not have the radio on currently. I'm looking to see how bad it's buzzing out there. Holy cow. Perfect Shine Auto Spot with the most shocking caution here probably of the night. Nick Nickerson will be down and out here. Here's the replay of the 54. Breaks loose. What? What was Hayden Paul doing?
Not sure.
Oh. Again.
Yeah, gets loose out of turn number 2. Overcorrects into the outside wall. Holds the brake.
This is his mistake right here. Boom.
Oh, no. Heavy hit for Nick. Yeah, he must have saw the leader coming and thought, oh, he's going to be on the high side. I'll better go down, but it's not looking in that mirror quite well enough. Made his decision, stuck to it. I would like to see, yeah, this is what I want to see.
Yeah, where did Nickerson see him?
Right there.
He's
He saw him
pointing to
going
the
back
right.
Up, so he,
Oh my God.
There he goes.
Swings to the left.
man, that's awful. Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is what everyone's going to need to happen. Nick is going to go way far back. Most of these drivers are going to be able to make it to the end on fuel, so it's just going to be tires. A lot of these drivers probably only going to take 2 tires. Some of these drivers might not pit at all, so this is going to definitely shake some things up. Everyone should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Nick going to go to the way back. He seems to not be using his fast repair.
He had to tow.
Oh, he had to tow.
And towing
Nick
under
Nickerson's
caution is
out of
going to
it.
cost him. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He led just about every single lap. Now out of it, I believe he's going to go a lap down now this time by.
Oh my gosh. An ill-timed caution. This is taking the fastest guy on the track out of the race. Oh my gosh. So let's talk about pit strategy. Marshall Crocker did not pit. Last time he came down was 103, and a fire sale happened behind him. Everybody behind him has tires and fuel. Oh my gosh, Marshall Crocker. Oh man, is he going to be on the chopping block here? They are going to be looking for him. Holy cow, Perfect Shine Auto Spa, thank you for being our caution sponsor. We're getting to get back under green. Crocker has to have a flawless start, and he tries to. Looks like a little bit of wheel slip here. Curtis Yancey to the inside. Right now, as McQuiggan looking here on the outside, lap 5 to go, and boop, little nudge there. 19 loose. 4, no! Kevin Foster, hang in there. John Osborne's around. Next caution will be coming out.
Yeah, Curtis Yancey used the bumper on Marshall Crocker Jr., moved him up the track into the 19 car of Joshua McQuiggan, to where Joshua McQuiggan used the bumper as well. Joshua McQuiggan was not quite ready for it, as when you use the bumper mid-corner that hard, it'll get you looser than the car in front of you. Backed it up just a little bit. Everyone behind him got all squirrely, thought he was going to crash into him. He got a little loose, but he saved it. Everyone else, though, could not quite figure it out. We saw John Osborne and... who was that? Kevin Foster that went around?
Yeah, Kelly Queel out there was saying, all right, sucks for Nick. Come on, Kevin, time to get to the front. And spoke too soon. I want to take a look at what causes the stack up here first. And we're going to sit here and watch Curtis Yancey. And Yancey getting to the inside, little check up there. Okay, so Yancey's clear. 19 gets in the back of him. And then after that, it doesn't stop. You see 4 wide, gets hooked by Ramos. You see John Osborne hits the brakes. He gets turned. Haggy sends it into him. Oh, Bob.
Here comes
out,
Bob Berry.
Oof. Yay, Bill. All right.
Yay, Bill. Yeah.
Well, Bill just doing what he's supposed to do. Slowly creep through. All right, so Bill survives. Kevin Foster, Eddie Haggy, and David Lakey to get most of the damage out there. Bob Berry's served a good bunch as the front end of his car is smashed in a little bit. Fortunately, we will have fast repairs, but who has already previously used them? Holy cow. How is Nickerson still sane right now? I'm sorry, I'm still baffled.
I know why. Because Nick wins so many races, it's just a one loss to him is I'll make it. I'll win next week. It's fine.
Yeah, but Nickerson needed the win, and he was possibly in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
16th.
I totally forgot about that.
I mean, with third win, it was going to be close.
It's hard to think about the fact that he wasn't in the right spot. He just usually is the leader in points, if not close to it. Totally forgot about that. We're going to have a, not quite a green-white checkered, but a 2-lap shootout. This time by the pace car is going to head on into pit road. Curtis Yancey and Connor Gibson could be the ones to lead us to the green. It's going to be crazy. You ready for this?
Oh, dude, I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. Connor Gibson and Curtis Yancey in this front row. And I guarantee you, if Yancey wins this, he will not have a car to burn out in. I'm not sure how many people are going to put it into him. Yancey's been racing everybody hard all year. And what a race to be hanging out in the front.
Coming to the green flag this time by on Curtis Yancey on the inside. Green flag is waving back once again. A little bit of a bump to both the cars on the lead. Curtis Yancey goes way low. Here comes Ramos. He's going to take second away from Connor Gibson. Josh McQuiggan looks low. Can't quite make it there that time. Yancey pulls away. Coming to the white flag this time by. They're going down the back straightaway. Only one corner before the white.
Yep, right now Josh McQuiggan taking a look down here on the bottom. Might give Ramos a little bit of a shove. Look who's coming back into the picture with Ethan Sikorsky. White flag is out. We're going to keep it on going here. Everything happens for a reason. Curtis Yancey out front, and currently shuffling on back is going to be Ethan Sikorsky. To the outside for Josh McQuiggan, seeing if he can squeak into a podium position here. Only one turn left for him to make the choice. Yancey running away with this one. Currently second is going to be Ramos, as he is staying unscathed, and to the line for McQuiggan. McQuiggan into the wall. McQuiggan finishes fourth.
Curtis Yancey going to be your winner. Joshua McQuiggan and Kevin Foster both very, very sideways out of the final corner. Everyone giving it their all on the gas. That just goes to show how sideways and how much throttle control they're really giving it out of that corner. The rest of the race and up till there. Real sideways. Benjamin Lacey decided to join him. Ethan Sikorsky almost got around him. Couldn't quite do it. John Osborne going to make up 2 positions in the final corner, though. Obviously, with a wrecked race car.
Dude. And Lacey able to get a little help from David Lakey there, pushing him across the line. Lacey finishes 8th. All right, Mason Flagar out there saying, let's go Gibson. Last lap brought to you by Apex Sim Racing. What a run that was all the way at the end, and Curtis Yancey coming away with the win. Let's see if we can find them out there. There they are. There's your top 3. We'll get our unofficial results up here for you. That way you can take a look at where your favorite driver ended up. Wow, what a run here tonight. These are the race results brought to you by LAT Racing Oils. Currently, Curtis Yancey looking for that checkered area, looking to see if he can find winner's circle here. Wow, fantastic race, especially right there at the end, and I hate seeing what happened to Nick. Boy, that's an absolute heartbreaker for Nick, though.
Curtis Yancey burning it down in victory lane. Well, he was.
Nah, he won't do that. It's picture time.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As we collect our drivers, hang in there. We got to talk to him about right here at the end. Josh McQuiggan doing everything he can. And hopefully we'll have our guys updating the points. We'll be on edge to see who squeaks through and makes it. So we'll see. We'll see how it squeaks through here, and if Mark Alan Bivens is the one to come away with the regular season. I knew it was tight. I think we were looking at what, 10, 8 points, somewhere around there. Yep. All right. Hang in there, guys. We'll be right back.
LAT Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
All right, catching up with our third place finisher here, we've got Connor Gibson. Connor, what a race this was here, buddy, especially all the way down to the end. You started 6th in this race, so you've been up front most of the night, but is this how you thought it was going to go?
No, to be honest. I mean, I was hoping for a solid top 5, and I felt good about it. But as the race played out, I was thinking I'd get probably stuck in the 7th to 8th range, and then that last caution came out and saved me. So that was unexpected, and I'll take it.
When we talk about that last caution, I would say this is not what anybody expected. Nickerson was dominating all night and just a wild turn of events. I mean, no matter what angle we look at it, it just feels wrong. You know what I mean? How it ended up playing out, though. And then we ended up with another caution right after that involving Kevin Foster, Eddie Hagge, and David Lakey. And you were able to squeak away and make sure you stayed out of that. So how in fear were you with Josh McQuiggan starting right there to the side of you?
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I thought I was gonna get wrecked. Not on purpose, but I thought we were all gonna wreck, and I thought it was gonna be a spectacular crash on the restart. I'm surprised we kept it together until coming to the line on the last lap to wreck, but it's always intense in the last few laps, and it's always, you never know what's going to happen. It's always a little scary. You're going to get wrecked.
Yeah. And taking a look at the races, man, you've been doing quite well here. And I think I have the unofficial results before any penalties are divvied out. Connor Gibson, you are moving on to the round of 12, man. How's it feel?
Feels great. Hopefully I can get back into that Final Four. I mean, it's funny because the last time we talked, if I had finished 3rd at Phoenix, I would have been the champion.
Dude.
But, had that 4th place tie.
Figures,
This place
huh?
gives me some flashbacks every time.
Figures. Dude.
I hear you, Connor. I hear you.
Oh, I know you get flashbacks from me hitting that inside wall.
Oh, God. All right. Connor, give me your shout-outs here, buddy. We got to get you ready for Kansas.
Hey, shout out to my teammates. We swept the podium there and got David in P7. I'm not sure where Hayden finished, but and also shout out to Mark Alan Bivens, who probably would have won the regular season championship if he hadn't have been on a side quest somewhere this week.
It looks like he has a shark floaty.
Yeah, so he's having a good time, but I think he had that in the bag if he had showed up tonight.
Almost. So close, but no cigar. All right, congratulations here, Connor. Awesome job here, buddy, and we definitely can't wait to see what you got for us starting the next few rounds here, bud, especially starting at Kansas.
Yes, hopefully I can make it exciting for y'all.
Oh, yeah. All right, Connor Gibson, everybody, there, our 3rd place finisher. Moving on to our 2nd place, where Jackson is getting caught up with Mr. Ramos out there. Let's see how he feels about the race out here and how it went for him.
Hey, Michael, up in the booth, you got us?
Yep, got you.
Yeah, you were really up front just about all race, really fast the entire time, very consistent. Didn't really get involved in anything too serious at any point. Tell me about how you were able to stay up there the whole time, and those, especially the last few laps, very stressful for you, I would guess. Just run me through what was going through your head.
Really, it's the preparation for the race for this week. Work wasn't too extreme, so I was able to get in a little bit more practice than what I generally can for a track. I think where I struggled at was rolling off of the turns, like getting back into the throttle, because I was noticing that my rear tire was still healthy towards the end of the stints. But really, it's just trying to stay up there with the leaders. Really look up to Nick Nickerson and Benjamin Lacey and Kevin Foster and them, who are always seem to be up at the front. So try to mimic them on this race.
Yeah, definitely. Well, usually a strategy I use is just mimic whatever Nick does or Brett or whatever, and that usually works out for me. So, but yeah, very fast here today. I'm not sure how many times I see you. I don't think I've talked to you in the booth at all so far this season, at least. So definitely good to see you up here. Very fast all day out there today. Tell me about any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out.
No, I'd just like to, shout out to the Zero Foxtrot team. We worked together, especially there at the end of the race, trying to figure out our strategy on coming 1, 2, 3. Anybody watching, especially starting Townley, appreciate the support, and we'll keep digging and see what we can do in the playoffs.
Very good. I expect to see you do well. So good job out there today, and I will see you next week at Kansas.
All right, see you there.
All right, Michael Ramos, everybody there, our second place finisher. That does move us on to Curtis Yancey. Curtis, you have been the talk here of the league. Tough driver out there, very, very aggressive, but you were able to come away with a win out here. Talk to me about how Phoenix treated you, other than putting you there in winner's circle.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't like racing Phoenix. I just can never find my way around the track, other than slow rolling the bottom, but somehow it always works for me. Should have won the last season finale here, but got caught up in a late race caution. I've always ran good here. I don't know why. I guess the track suits me, but I just hate racing here, and somehow I always do good. But yeah, tonight was fun. Sucks I had to win it the way that I did, but a win's a win.
All right. Well, a lot of things have been happening out here on the track. You race everybody, I would say, a little more aggressive than the rest of the field. A lot of guys have been, I would say almost some follow the leader, kind of go nose to tail. You seem to make your own lane out there, Curtis. You definitely say, hey, I know my car will go faster. Let me show you. And you'll go down on the bottom and pass guys, I think maybe in a treacherous area or on the outside of turn 4 in Darlington, or take it at Watkins Glen and through the carousel. I mean, they're just, more about what that car is capable of than I think half the drivers do out here on the track. Does that work out for you in the long run? I mean, is that kind of the key to your success?
I would say it's part of it. Definitely, if I can't go through the car in front of me, so the only way to get around them is to run a different line. But if I can't, I know I'm not going to be faster just sitting there behind you. I got to try something to get around you. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Tonight, I guess it worked. A lot of the times it doesn't, with me ending up in the fence sometimes, but tonight it worked.
All right. I know you got a crazy work schedule out there. That's why I think we missed you there at Texas. That moves us to Kansas, Chicago Street, and Darlington. Hopefully you'll be able to show up for at least 2 out of 3 of those. Which one would you be more excited about if you're able to attend?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the only one I'll be able to make is the street course. It's always a fun track to run. Haven't really driven it much in this car, so definitely got to put in a little bit of practice, but that should be fun.
So if you're able to make the street course, that means you're going to be running out at Talladega on the 20th of August. It seems
hopefully we'll put a car in victory lane at either one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like you seem to be every other week, so Dago is going to be the next crazy one we see you at, and before that, it'll be the street course. So, Curtis, that is going to be wild, buddy. Definitely 1, 2, 3 here for the Young Guns crew. You did an awesome job out there. Go ahead and give me a shout-out for the people out here watching and the sponsors out there on the car.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody watching. It's always fun running in front of a crowd here. Thanks to my teammates. Unfortunately, Hayden kind of unfortunately helped me with the win, so got to give him a slight props for that one. Again, sucks I had to win it this way, but win's a win.
Wow. All right, Curtis, public enemy number 1. I think that was the conversation at the end of season 12 or the beginning of season 13. Curtis, good luck to you, buddy, and we can't wait to see you back out here on the track.
Thanks. See ya.
Yep. All right, Curtis. Boy, he knows exactly what not to say. All right, everybody. Hopefully you guys are all still tuned in, because I think you guys want to know how the next round goes here. We're going to go through our top 12. Mark Alan Bivens was unseated from the number 1 spot. Josh McQuiggan ended up nailing the number 1 spot. He is our regular season champ. Josh McQuiggan is. Unfortunately, he is already scurried off. We can't catch him. So that gives us Mark Alan Bivens in second. David Lakey finishes in third. Connor Gibson 4th. Ethan Sikorsky 5th. John Osborne rounds out the first half of our field. Now for the final 6. Eddie Haggy, Michael Ramos in 8th. Marshall Crocker 9th. Kevin Foster is 10th. Benjamin Lacey is 11th. And for the final spot is going to go to Christopher Bassender. He made it. So very, very close. He lost 5 positions here on the night, not showing up, and just barely made it in. So very close. If Nickerson had had the win, it would have been even closer, as Nickerson finished in ended up in a points chase of 13th. He would actually be the guy who competed with the most amount of wins in the least amount of races competed in and come into the round of 12. So something to put into perspective out there, which is a wild finish. Bill Harkins, am I saying anything off color here?
No, sir. That I'm aware of.
All right, just making sure we've got everything squared away. After 11 races here, drivers are already smashing their heads off the steering wheels out there, and it has been a tough season here so far. I do appreciate all you guys joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. Jackson, you got anything left to add here, brother, before we sign off?
We saw a really good race today, obviously at short tracks. Sometimes things get a little crazy, but lots of really good green flag runs, some green flag pit stops. All in all, a really good race and a very eventful finish. So very fun here at Phoenix, and I'm excited to see what kind of product we put on at Kansas.
All right, guys, speaking of which, at Kansas, you will find us there July 30th. To begin the round of 12, round number 1. These guys are going to go for it, and especially those top 12 that I've got for you. We'll go ahead and get a championship point set up. That way you guys can follow along with us. But from all of us here at SimTraX Broadcasting, bringing you the Bandit Racing League on Wednesday nights. Be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll see all you guys next time.